We had a couple of evidentiary issues that arose over the weekend that we need to sort out, I guess. One of them was, is there more than one interview of Mr. Sledge? I think was one of the questions.
Sorry,
talking to the mic.
I believe there are two interviews with Mr. Sledge, and we will get to Mr. Steele where the other one is located. So I think that was his question.
All right, and that's not going to come. Well, when do we expect that to actually?
That might be tomorrow or Wednesday, maybe, Your Honor. I guess it depends on what happens today.
Well, tomorrow is Wednesday. This is
sorry.
Tuesday.
Sorry, Your Honor.
It's a short week.
It's a short week. So either tomorrow or Thursday, Your Honor. But I guess it'll
all right. Well, then get it.
Yes.
Him. I mean, are you saying he has it? It's just, where is it?
Yes.
Like which Dropbox link or whatever? Okay. Well, just somebody sort that out and shoot an email over on that.
We will.
Okay. And then, will that resolve that issue, Mr. Steele?
Good morning, Your Honor.
Good morning.
Yes,
Okay. All right. And then there was an issue potentially with jail calls, I guess, between Mr. Garlington and his mother. A lot of this, I know y'all are shooting emails back and forth all weekend, but I just saw these like 2 minutes ago. So.
Yeah. Hey, so Your Honor, relating to the call with Mr. Garlington and his mother, it's not the state's intention to play that call at this juncture. If something changes, and there is a hearsay exception, we will get it in. But at this point, we don't intend to play that call.
Okay.
And then the last thing that Mr. Steele referenced was Mr. Zachary mentioning the search of Mr. Williams' home, and we do not plan on getting into that with Mr. Zachary. We understand the court's previous ruling regarding that search.
Okay, and will have instructed all of your witnesses, if you haven't yet, before they get on the stand, as to things that they are off limits that they are not to mention.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Will that resolve that issue?
right, both of those.
Okay. All right. Are there any other issues that we need to discuss? And I'm going to have an issue at the bench in just a minute. Y'all can finish figuring out whatever you were discussing, but then I need y'all to come up to the bench. Okay.
And it's Ms. Corrigan saying, I heard from another person, I don't know who that person is, that somebody else is going to shoot up Mechanicsville. Mr. Copeland doesn't say anything. I don't believe he adopts it. And she's informing him, and then the call ends, it was actually cut off by security. So I don't know why that would come in.
Okay.
I don't understand.
All right. Is that something that the state is intending to play?
We won't play any hearsay. We'll just make sure that the timestamp is correct for when Deshaun makes that, when Ms. Quarterman makes that comment, Sharon.
All right. And on this will be this morning sometime?
Ideally, hopefully.
Okay. So y'all, we actually have a little bit of a delay. One of the jurors isn't here yet. So in a few minutes after the bench conference, y'all could maybe just get together and make sure you're on the same page on that. All right. So can a couple of people come up here? all of the jury here now, so let's get Mr. Copeland in and we'll get the jury out.
So, Your Honor, we listened to that call, and we're going to stop the call at 14:30,
Okay.
which would alleviate the issue that Mr. Steele brought up.
All right,
And that's on the 16th of June jail call.
all right. Is somebody going to get Mr. Copeland?
Yes.
We can go ahead and have them start filing out as well. People are just getting seated.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
All right, thank you very much. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I hope y'all all had a pleasant, long, enjoyable, peaceful weekend. Yes. All right, we are about to get started, but I think Miss Hilton ran out for just a second, so I'm sure she will be right back. All right.
Ms. Preston, can we have the Zoom link? Good morning, Mr. Copeland.
Good morning.
On cross-examination last week, do you recall speaking with Doug Weinstein about your knowledge of God and knowing that God is in your heart? Do you remember that?
Yes.
Okay. And Mr. Weinstein asked you if with God in your heart, that is what you were thinking about when you raised your hand and took the oath. Do you remember him asking you that?
I don't get what you're saying.
Sure. Last week, Mr. Weinstein asked you when you took the oath to testify, if you had God on your mind. Do you remember him asking you that?
Yes.
Okay. And you said he wasn't on your mind, he was in your heart. Do you remember that?
God, yes.
Okay. And you and I have had discussions about God. Is that fair to say?
Yes, we have.
Okay. And he asked you, Mr. Weinstein asked you, with God in your heart, is everything that you testified to in trial the truth now? Do you remember him asking you that?
I guess, yes.
Okay. But that's not actually accurate, is that, Mr. Copeland?
What you mean?
That everything that you testified to in court while you've been here isn't all true. Is that fair to say?
I don't get what you're asking.
Sure.
You say is everything I testify is true?
Yes.
To my understanding, it's true.
Okay. Well, I want to play for you State's Exhibit 399Y, which is your testimony from a few weeks ago with you and I talking about your ability to read, okay?
To read?
Yes. We're just waiting for the Zoom. I mean, not waiting for the Zoom. Log on.
I need to put the headphones on.
Yes, please. Okay, I'm going to show you what's already been admitted as State's Exhibit 332Y.
I can hardly hear it.
Now, looking at
It's not playing right here.
where we stopped it. At State's Exhibit 332Y, do you see on here where it says Hertz rental record?
I can't read.
Okay, so you can't see anything on that page?
I can't read.
Okay. Do you see the name Jeffery Williams?
You told DJ.
Now, do you remember telling me that you couldn't read?
Right?
Okay.
Can I speak on it?
No, not yet.
All right.
There was no explanation of that. I think she's going to ask him another question, and you can. We'll see where it goes from there. Go ahead, Miss Hilton.
I'm showing defense counsel some exhibits. Permission to approach, Your Honor.
You may.
Mr. Cook, I'm gonna show you Mr. Martin State Exhibit 401.
Why?
First time if you recognize State Exhibit 401, why?
You said, have I recognized it?
Yep.
I ain't never seen it before.
Do you see your name on here?
Yeah. Yes.
Do you see your signature on the back page?
Yes.
All right. And do you see that date of December 13, 2018?
Yes.
Okay. And does it say plea of guilty form?
Yeah, yes.
Okay. Is this the plea of guilty form you filled out when you took the plea to theft by receiving stolen property back in 2018?
Can you say it again?
Sure. Is this the plea of guilty form that you had to fill out when you took the plea to theft by receiving stolen property in 2018?
I guess.
All right. I'm also now showing you State's Exhibit 402Y. Do you see your name on there?
Yes.
Okay. Do you see your signature when you signed and date this on August 12, 2013?
I see that date.
Okay. Do you see your signature?
Oh, yes.
Did you fill this out when you took your plea in 12 SC 110195, which was your intern automobile plea?
I guess.
I guess, is that your signature?
What?
On the second page.
I guess.
All right. I'm also showing you what's been marked as State's Exhibit 403Y. Do you see your name on here?
Yes.
Do you see the petition of bond that you filled out while in jail trying to get a bond?
You said I filled it up?
Did you write this from the Fulton County Jail?
This, I wrote that, but not that.
So you didn't write your petition for bond?
No, that's not in my handwriting.
Okay. Well, I'm showing you State's Exhibit 404Y. Do you see this letter that you wrote from the Fulton County Jail?
Again, that's not my handwriting.
Okay. Do you see that this was sent by you from the Fulton County Jail?
That's my handwriting.
This is your handwriting, but you didn't write this in this. Okay.
Yes.
Looking at State's Exhibit 401 and 402, Your Honor, the state would like to admit 401 and 402Y into evidence.
Admitted.
Do you see here on page 4, you had to write, are you able to read, write, and understand the English language? You said yes.
Yes.
All right. Also here on your plea of guilty form, are you able, can you read, write, and understand the English language? You said yes, correct?
Right.
All right. And that's what you signed and dated, correct?
I guess.
All right. And last week, do you remember when Mr. Steele put before you the murder warrants in this case? You were able to read the murder warrants in this case?
I don't remember reading that.
Okay. Do you remember when Mr. Shard asked you to read that dismissal form that when your case was dismissed in early this year, that you were able to read that?
He read it for me.
Do you remember reading it yourself?
I remember listening to him and agreeing to, because he reading it for me in front of everybody, so I assumed that what he reading is on there.
Is it the only time that you couldn't read when I had to put something in front of you that dealt with
It's a different, like, that's why I just asked, because I explained to you.
what would you like?
Reading and understanding is different. Like, you putting papers in front of me, like, you can read that stuff.
Okay. So is your testimony today that you did not read anything last week when Mr. Steele and Mr. Shard gave you documents to read?
He said, did I read anything last week?
Yes.
I don't. Just looked at the papers. He reading it in front of everybody, so I'm assuming whatever he reading, it got to be on there because he in front of the courts.
Okay. Now, that wasn't the only thing that you have not been honest about with this jury now that you've testified. Is that fair to say?
What you mean?
Okay. On cross, do you remember Mr. Steele and Mr. Shard asking you about the gang meeting with Mo the day before Nut died?
I'm listening.
Do you remember them asking you about it?
You said, do I remember them asking me about it?
Yes.
I guess.
And this is the same gang meeting that you didn't remember me asking you about it or telling me about it. Do you recall that?
You asked me about it?
Yes, and you didn't remember it when I asked you about it.
What am I supposed to say?
An answer. Do you remember not recalling that meeting at all when I asked you about it?
I don't even remember what they asked me about it.
Okay. This gang meeting with Mo, is that the same meeting as you told Detective Thorpe about back in 2015?
I told you, when it came to talking to the detectives, I would tell them anything to get them out of my face.
And is this the same meeting that you told Detective Dennis and Gaither about back in 2015?
I guess, I don't know.
Okay. And is this the same meeting that occurred after Rich Homie Quan's car was shot at the studio?
Can you say that again?
This gang meeting with Mo, is this the same meeting that occurred after Rich Homie Quan's car was shot up at the music studio?
Was it after? I don't know.
Okay. And is this the same shooting that Nut was at that studio as well when Rich Homie Quan's car got shot up, correct?
Yeah, ask them. I don't know. I don't know who was at where or what. I don't know.
Now, last week, do you remember saying that that meeting was about you? This gang meeting was about you. Do you remember saying that?
And who I told it to?
Mr. Steele and Mr. Shard.
It's the way that you ask me the question. You got to ask me the same way they did ask me.
Let me ask you this. The meeting about the gang meeting with Mo, that meeting wasn't just about you, correct?
Was it just about me?
Yeah, was it just about you?
The part I know about.
Wasn't this also about Thug? Weren't Thug discussed at this meeting as well?
Was it what they brought his name up?
Yes.
No.
Okay. Do you remember telling Investigator Thorpe that this meeting was about you and Thug?
I told you I had to. You keep going to me, and when they were questioning me, I was trying to, bring him in it. I mean, like.
I want to play Stacey Exhibit 370 Watt.
I don't get it.
78 YA at 306:35.
I got to listen to it.
Yes, please.
What it is? They said it yesterday, Friday.
It's not playing on this thing right here.
The meeting.
It's on here, but it's not playing. Oh, the headphone might be broke.
Can you push it? Make sure it's all the way pushed.
It's already in.
We'll just play it for a little while. Maybe it'll pick up afterwards.
What it is? Today, Saturday, yesterday, Friday, they have a meeting. The meeting, like it was a blood meeting, and the meeting was about me and Thug. You and Thug, me and Young Thug. But the whole time, I'm telling him like, what Thug got to do with this, bro? Young Thug was his dog. Young Thug, the rapper. I'm like, what he got to do with this? You know what I'm saying? So I'm talking to him. Like, he with you. I'm like, bro, it ain't no beef, bro. Like, I can stand y'all niggas out there. You know, don't pay me no attention. I'll pay y'all no attention. No, I listen to him. But there was a guy that was at me. Said, that was the guy down the road, Mo. He's supposed to say, kill me and Young Thug. So I asked, I got 10 minutes on my phone. I text my phone like, dang, bro, y'all gonna kill me and Thug? And I felt a laugh face, like, ha, ha, ha. And he like, bro, what you talking about? Like, ain't that like you can say it? So another guy talking like, ain't that like you say it? I'm like, okay, they just lying. He like, yeah. So next thing you know,
I'm going to stop it at 307:39. Mr. Copeland, you're the person who brought up Thug, correct?
I guess so.
Detective Thorpe never brought up Thug, correct?
Right, correct.
Matter of fact, he had to clarify who you were talking about, correct?
Yes.
All right. So
Remember how I was telling you that I take a little bit of piece of the truth?
So again, when it has to deal with Thug, that part is a lie. But you being on the plate isn't a lie. But Thug being on the plate is a lie. Is that what you're trying to say?
What I'm trying to say is, when I was talking to Detective Thorpe, I wasn't raised to tell the truth to the police. So, whatever.
Okay.
If you listen to what I said in the interview, I said, what Thug have to do with this? So if it was about me and Thug, why would I be saying what Thug had to do with it? Shit, I would already know.
Okay. But this is because this was a gang meeting that they were putting you on the plate, correct?
I ain't never been on no plate.
Okay. They wanted to kill you and Thug. That's what you told the detective.
That's what I told the detective.
Now, also on cross-examination, do you recall talking about meetings that you had with the state of Georgia multiple times? Do you remember talking about meetings that you had with Ms. Love, with me, with Investigator Long? Do you remember that?
Yes.
All right. Now, across, do you remember Mr. Steele asking you about when I, Ms. Love, met with you at the Fayette County Jail?
Okay.
Right. And do you remember that line of questioning?
If you said the same way he did, I will. I remember him asking about y'all though.
All right. Now, when we met, do you recall it being me, Ms. Love, and actually Investigator Viverito that met with you at the Fayette County Jail?
Which time?
The only time that I ever met you at the Fayette County Jail.
You only came once?
Do you recall me coming to the Fayette County Jail one time to meet with you?
I thought you came more than once.
Okay. Do you remember going to?
I'm telling you what I remember. I thought you came more than once.
That's fine. Do you remember me coming with Ms. Love and Investigator Viverito?
I thought you came with Ms. Love and Ms. Rolette and Long.
Okay, we'll talk about that meeting because that did happen, but I wasn't there. But we'll talk about that too.
Sustained.
In November, do you remember us meeting in November of 2022? Sure. Do you remember us meeting in November of 2022?
I remember you down there. We were laughing. Yeah.
Okay. And that was the first time we ever met. Would you agree?
Yeah, that was the first time I ever seen you.
Okay. And do you remember I was standing on the back wall because I didn't know who you were.
Yes.
You were standing on a wall over to the side.
I remember you was quiet most of the time.
Okay. And Ms. Love and Investigator Viverito was standing on the other side of you. Do you remember that?
They were sitting by each other, I think.
Yes. And do you remember telling me you don't know me, so you were being very observant of what I would say to you? Do you recall that?
I'm more watching me Verito.
Okay. And why were you watching Investigator Viverito?
Because she had her phone in her hand, trying to be slick.
And what did you think was happening with the phone in her hand?
Y'all were trying to trick me again.
Okay. And we say trick you again. What do you mean?
Well, not y'all, but the state was trying to trick me again.
Okay. And when we met, did you tell us that you did not want to testify?
I think so.
Yep. And did you told us that you had left all this stuff in the past?
They sound like somebody say.
Okay. And did you tell us that you were upset because when you needed our help, we didn't help you?
I guess.
Do you remember talking to us about Gaither not helping you out back in 2015?
I guess.
Do you remember telling us that we should have got your testimony back then when you were really willing to help us out?
I guess.
Do you remember talking to Ms. Love about a case that she worked on with one of your friends?
I most definitely do.
Okay.
And she denied it.
All right. And do you remember us talking about the fact that you wanted to write a book?
No, I told you I wrote a book.
And that you wanted to get it published, correct?
I said I was thinking about it, but I didn't want to put it out because it had too much violence in it.
Okay. And is that what you told us, it had too many bodies?
Violence.
Oh, okay. And did you tell us that you didn't have a court date and you were trying to get you a court date?
That's what I said. Yeah, I said y'all was stopping me from going to court.
And did we tell you we were going to try to figure out why you didn't have a court date?
Yes.
All right. Isn't it true when we met, we never talked about any details about 2015?
Miss Love tried to.
But we never discussed it, correct?
What you mean?
We never went into details about anything that Little D told you. We never went into details about any of the Club Crucial. We never went into details about the facts of 2015. Isn't that fair?
I'm going to object. This is all testimony. She will not be a witness of what I said. I'm objecting to this entire life.
You're right.
We did. Becoming a witness.
Overruled. And speaking to your mic also when you're making objections. Thank you. They're out. Shocker. All right, we'll let IT know.
But again, we never discussed the facts of that case when we met with you down at the Fayette County Jail.
I don't know. My only concern was telling y'all that y'all were holding me in jail. So I can't really be specific with. I can't recall. You got to tell me what y'all was saying.
Okay. The only thing we talked about was the fact that you did not want to be in Fayette County Jail and you wanted a court date so you can get out of jail. Is that fair?
No, we was in there for a long time.
Right. And we never discussed the facts of the case. Correct?
See, you talking. I think I'm more. I think I'm more talking to Miss Love, and you was just because I just remember you just kept standing there and you trying to act like somebody in the hood. So,
was I just quiet and being myself?
No, you were acting like somebody I grew up with.
Let's focus on what it is that you're trying to have him clarify.
Now, the next time that we met was in May of 2024. Is that fair to say?
I don't keep up with it time.
Okay. The next time we met is when I met you in Pittsburgh, correct?
I think so.
Okay. And that was with you, me, and Investigator Long, correct?
Yes.
And we met by the train tracks over in Pittsburgh.
Yes.
Is that fair to say? And when you got into the car, you sat in the back seat, correct?
Yes.
And I was in the front, Long was driving, correct? Or in the driver's seat, correct?
No, he stood outside the car.
And he eventually got inside.
He stood outside. I seen him stand outside the whole time.
And when we first met, I asked you if Melvin was your attorney, correct?
Yes.
And you said you had not talked to him.
No, I said he is my attorney, but I haven't talked to him.
Okay. And you told me that he wasn't your attorney because you had not talked to him, correct?
Huh?
You told me that he wasn't your attorney because you had not talked to him.
I don't know if you rule out a continuing objection.
You may. All right. Can you restate that question? Are you saying was not?
Correct.
So,
Isn't it? I will state.
go ahead.
Yes. Isn't it true that you told me because you all have not talked, he was not your attorney?
No, I had always told y'all he was my attorney. It just, I don't talk to him that much.
Okay. I asked you if you still wanted to talk to me, correct?
Yeah, I think so.
And we talked, correct?
Yes.
And it was a cordial meeting, which is that fair to say?
I don't know what that means.
It was a pleasant meeting. Is that fair to say?
I pleasure.
It was a good meeting.
I just kept telling y'all, leave me out of this.
Okay.
I just want to move forward my life and let my past be in the past.
And when we met, you did not have any pending criminal charges, correct? You didn't have any criminal cases.
I don't know. I didn't. I know I had just went to court and played to the last case I had open,
Okay.
where I had another one from the jail, but
At the time, you didn't know that had been dismissed. Is that fair?
well, the lawyer just told me they were dismissed.
Okay. And when we met in the car, we also didn't go into the facts of the case, correct?
Well, I told you I was lying, and you told me that you know I wasn't lying.
Okay. Did you tell us that you just did not want to testify?
What you mean?
Did you tell Long and I you did not want to be involved in this case?
Yeah, I don't told the world that I think so.
Okay. And then when we were finishing, I asked if we can meet again on Monday. Do you remember that?
I guess.
And you told me, I'll pray about it. Is that fair?
Sound like something I say.
Okay. And we called you on Monday and you did not want to speak to us. Is that fair? All right. Then,
No, I don't know, because I still end up down here.
and you came down here later that week, correct? On about Wednesday,
Tuesday.
on Tuesday of that week. Thank you. And when we met on that Tuesday, correct?
I was down here. I don't know if I can't remember if it was you I met with, but I was down here with y'all.
Okay. And when we met, you told us you did not want to testify and that you just wanted us to play the tapes, correct?
Because that's what y'all wanted. That's what y'all said y'all wanted. Listen, man, I don't know. I don't know these trick questions that you asked me or what, but you know what me and you talked about.
Okay.
And I told you that I done lied to these people and got me up here. You talking about I put my hand up to God to tell the truth and I'm lying, but you can't tell me what I'm lying about and telling the truth about.
When you asked me to just play the tapes, I told you I couldn't just play the tapes, that you had to testify.
Oh, I can't.
Let me begin the continuing objection. It's really unfair unless Ms. Silva's going to become a witness. I cannot answer any question. I have no reports on it.
So he can say, yeah, that's right. He can say, no, that's not right. He can say, I don't remember. He can say, here's what really happened. I mean, it's not testimony, it's questions. And I have and will again instruct the jury that what the attorneys ask is not testimony, it's not evidence. So I understand, and you continue to have your continuing objection, and it continues to be overruled.
And when I met with you, Investigator Long was present, correct?
When?
Back in June when you came down to the courthouse.
Oh, yes, I think so.
And when we met, did I go over with you in front of Investigator Long my understanding of the events leading up to Donovan Thomas's murder?
Object to the relevance of prosecutors' understanding of events that she wasn't present.
Can you rephrase the question?
Sure. Did we talk about the events leading up to Donovan Thomas's murder?
I honestly can't remember.
Okay. Do you recall telling me that I had most of it correct, but there were some things I had wrong?
I don't remember saying. Yeah, I think I told you y'all don't got y'all facts together, but I don't know.
Okay. And do you recall telling me that some of the facts that we didn't have together was the fact that you had stolen Donovan Thomas's stuff?
What you mean?
Did you tell me?
You talking too aggressive right now, and it's frustrating me.
Did you tell me that the one thing that I did not have correct is that you were the person that stole Donovan Thomas's belongings?
I guess.
Okay. Did you also tell me that when I asked you about the shooting with Thug and Nard in the car on the night that you got into the fight with Kel at Club Crucial, that I didn't have all of my facts together regarding the shooting with Thug and Nard? Did you tell me that?
I don't get what you're saying.
Sure. Do you recall telling the detectives about a shooting with Thug and Nard in the car, and you and your brother was in another car, and you saw Nard with a gun, and he racked it, and when you started driving away, you heard shots being fired?
I told it to you here?
No. Did you tell that to the police?
In the interrogation room?
Yes.
Oh, I tell the police anything.
Okay. Do you remember telling me that I didn't have all of those details correct?
No, I don't remember telling you that.
Okay. Do you remember me telling you that I had to tell the defense everything that you told me that was different?
You said, only thing you told the defense?
Do you remember me telling you that I would have to tell the defense anything that you told me that was different than what was in the interviews?
And that's when I switched it up.
And that's why you were mad, because you did not want me to tell the defense the things that you told me that were different.
Nah, I didn't want you to tell them what I said because I didn't want them to tell on me.
Okay.
So when you said that, I was like, don't say that, because I didn't want to. I don't want to be exposed.
And speaking about that, when we met, did you tell me that your biggest concern was what the defense knew about you?
To the things I did,
Yes.
right?
And did you tell me, I don't have a problem testifying for y'all. I'm more concerned about what they know about me.
I'm concerned about both of y'all because they can. It ain't. Cause I mean, people. I don't know. It's just, man, I don't know. You got me up here
And you keep telling me that you keep testifying that you kept telling us that you lied. Is that fair? Do you recall me asking you, what do you lie
Yes.
about? What do you lie about?
You thought I was gonna tell you?
Okay. And then I ask you, are you talking about like lying to your girlfriend? What are you talking about?
Because I wanted y'all to cause y'all put me in here, and I constantly told you. I know I just told you every time you talk, like I don't lie. So y'all put me up here, and y'all be expecting me to remember the lies I done told. Yeah, I better remember the truth.
And remember when we met, you've never told me any lie that you said back in 2015. Is that fair?
All the time, to be honest with you, you ask me these questions. Anytime I think about anytime me and you met, it was just some laughing, hee ha ha. Like I don't. Shit, you played on me.
Because we were always cordial with one another. Is that fair to say?
If that's what it means.
We were always on good terms with each other, correct?
Yes.
Now, do you recall also telling me that the defense may have a video with you and others bragging about killing Nut? Do you remember telling me that there might be a video that the defense has that it's you and others bragging about, we killed Nut?
What about it?
Do you remember telling me that?
I told you that?
Do you remember me asking you, if the video exists, can I have a copy of it?
Huh?
Do you remember me asking you, if this video exists, would you give me a copy of it?
I don't even. Shit, when I heard it, them people say it over there, I didn't know y'all. I don't know that. I don't know. I don't recall.
So last week when Mr. Steele asked you if there was a video about saying you killed Nut, that wasn't the video, correct? There was a video maybe that said we killed Nut, correct?
What video y'all have?
Is this the video that you said the defense may have?
I haven't seen no video. Y'all ain't showed me none.
During these meetings that we had with each other, at any point, did you ever tell me that what little D told you about the night of Donovan Thompson's murder was a lie?
I don't even. Me and you, all the time, me and you talk about it, it was just like, I told you that I made it up. And you were like, which part did I make up? And I was like, let D get into my car saying that this happened. And then you was like, so let D never got in your car and said that they killed, and I was like, no. And you was like, why is this my first time saying it? And I was like, because I was scared. And then you was like, so you asked me about Noah, and I was telling her I didn't know him for real. And I just made it up. And you was like, and then you were like, well, I gotta let the defense know. And I was like, damn, you gonna tell them? And then you were like, I have to. And then I was just like, damn, don't tell them, because the defense already saying that, you know what I mean, too much that they don't need to be saying.
Okay. Isn't it true that it wasn't until you were about to testify that you told me some different things about what happened that night at McDonald's?
Because you made me feel comfortable.
Okay. And that is when you told me that it wasn't Nard that got into your car. It was Little D and Shannon that got into your car.
Huh?
Do you remember telling me on the day that you were going to testify that it wasn't Nard that got into your car on the day that Donovan Thomas passed away, but it was Little D and Shannon that got into your car?
I don't get what you're asking me.
Sure. Do you remember telling me, switching your story up, that it
No,
was...
I didn't switch my story, but I came forward. You made me feel comfortable, and I let you know, like, I lied. The D never told me nobody killed nobody when he got in my car.
Did you ever tell me what you told me on June 7th, 2024, that Little D didn't say anything to you? That's what you told me, correct?
You just confused me again.
Sure. When we met in June of 2024, that's when you told me that Little D didn't say anything to you. That was the first time you ever said that, correct?
You said that was the first time I ever told anybody that?
Yes.
So I guess I don't get, like, I hear what you're saying, but I don't get it. I don't understand it.
It was only in June of this year, that was the first time you ever said that Little D did not tell you anything in the car, correct?
Because you the first person I ever spoke with that made me feel like you went after me. So it was like, you made me feel comfortable to let it be known that, shit, I lied. So I felt like you was somebody I knew. Okay. And I wanted to tell the truth to you that I made it up.
All right. Also, during these meetings, did you tell me multiple times that you did not kill Nut when we met?
Say that again?
When we met previously, did you tell me multiple times that you did not kill Nut?
Yeah, I think I told you that.
Okay. And did I tell you that there was other evidence that supported what you told me? What?
Sustained.
Did I tell you that, excuse me, strike that. Did I discuss with you that I could not show you any other evidence because you were a witness?
Huh?
Did I tell you that I could not show you any other evidence because you were a witness in this case?
No, you showing me the pictures and stuff and the phone calls that you're going to use. That's what you're talking about?
I did show you that. Was there other evidence I told you that I could not show you because you were a witness?
I don't remember.
Now, Mr. Shard on cross-examination asked you if I showed you all of your interviews prior to trial. Do you remember that?
Can you say that again?
Do you remember last week Mr. Shard asking you if I showed you all of your interviews prior to trial? Do you remember that?
Can you just ask me this question? I don't.
Do you remember Mr. Shard last week asking you if I showed you all 6 of your interviews prior to trial?
If you showed me the interviews, what about it?
Do you remember Mr. Shard asking you if I showed them to you? Do you, Mr. Copeland, would you have sat down and watched 21 hours of interviews with me if I asked you to?
I don't even want to sit down right here and listen to y'all now.
Now, Mr. Copeland, after we met in June, you were supposed to testify on June 7th, 2024. Do you remember that?
All I know is I jump when y'all tell me to jump.
Okay. On that day, when you were supposed to testify, do you remember pleading the 5th?
Oh, when y'all locked me up?
When you got locked up because you pled the 5th. Do you remember that?
Mm-hmm.
Is that a yes?
I never forget it.
All right. And you went to the Fulton County Jail, correct?
That's what y'all took me to.
And then you went to the DeKalb County Jail, correct?
That's what they took me to.
And then on Monday, June 10th, there was a meeting in the judge's chambers. Do you remember that?
Yes.
And that meeting was with you? Slow down. Sure. On that Monday, June 10th, there was a meeting in judge's chambers, correct?
Yes.
And that meeting was with you? You were there?
Yes.
Your attorney, Ms. Bumpus, was there?
And you was there?
I was there. Investigator Long was there.
Yes.
Okay. Another investigator, Hamilton, was there.
Trying to little short bald head dude?
Yes.
Yes.
And there were some sheriff's deputies, correct?
A lot of them.
All right. And the purpose of that meeting was to explain to you what would get you out of jail, correct?
I don't know. I don't know the purpose of it.
Okay. Did we discuss you getting out of jail?
We been there for a long time.
And did we discuss you getting out of jail?
Yeah.
All right.
It was some of it.
And do you remember Mr. Shaw and Mr. Steele asking you about those meetings last week?
I remember, I don't know which one asked me, but I remember being asked about it.
And isn't it true that there were some details missing from what they asked you last week?
You tell me?
During this meeting, were you able to talk to your attorney, Ms. Bumpus, on multiple occasions?
She sat right there with me the whole time.
And were there times when we left and you were able to talk to her by yourself?
I whispered in her ear.
Okay. But were there times when I left the room, the judge left the room, and you and Ms. Bumpus were in there and the two of you talked by yourself? I
think y'all probably left out before. I can't really remember.
And did I tell you in that interview that the only reason why you were in jail is because you pled the fifth?
That sounds like something you said.
And did I also tell you that so long as you testify that you would not be in jail?
Huh?
Did I also tell you that so long as you testified, you would not be in jail?
Well, me and you were going back and forth.
Okay. And did I tell you that so long as you testified, you would not be in jail?
Yeah, but I was explaining to you why I didn't want to testify.
And did I tell you multiple times in that interview that the state of Georgia did not want you to be in jail?
That sounds like something you said.
Okay. And I didn't just say it one time, I said it. Do you need some water?
Nah, I've been coughing all weekend.
Okay. Did I say it to you multiple times in that interview that we did not want you in jail?
I think you said it the whole time.
Okay. Now, in that meeting, did I also tell you that I expected you to tell the truth?
And I told you that. I don't lie. If you keep going to the past, if you want me to tell the truth, you can't ask me about what I done told the police because when you know what I mean, I'm just going with the flow.
And do you also remember during that meeting, your attorney asking me if he gets on the stand and says things that aren't true, would I be okay with that?
If I wasn't talking, I don't know.
Do you recall Ms. Bumpus, your attorney, saying, if he says something, you're right, it'll be effect on it. If he says he did something and you know he's not telling the truth, what happens? And my response to you is, if he said he did something and he did not do that thing, and she said to me, if you believe he did not, so if you believe that he's lying about that, then I said, then no. If he admits to doing something on the stand and he did not do that thing, I'm going to ask him, this is the first time you're saying that. And she asked, and you have independent evidence to prove it wasn't him, then what? Then nothing. What do you mean? So she said, so you're okay with him if he got on the stand and said things?
Ms. Hilton, get to the question.
Is it true that I said, no, I want him to tell the truth? What have I always said to you? I want you to tell the truth. I don't know what's going to come out your mouth, but I expect you to tell the truth. Is that what I said to you?
You told me that if I say I killed Donovan Thomas and I ain't killed him, you're going to lock me up. You said that if I plead the fifth, you're going to lock me up. And from my understanding, whatever I had to say to matter, from my understanding.
And let's talk about the part about Donovan Thomas, correct? Do you recall me saying to you, and this was when, we talk a lot about perjury back in the chambers.
What's the other word is too that I was saying?
Purge. Remember we talked about
Them two
perjury?
different words. Okay, yeah, that's it.
Okay. Do you remember us talking about perjury and perjury meaning lying on the stand?
I always get confused, but you know it.
Okay. And did you have your attorney ask me multiple times, if you testify and say something that I know isn't true, what would happen?
What you mean?
Did Ms. Bumpus ask me on multiple occasions, if you testify and say something that I know isn't true, what would happen?
You told me I don't know. I was trying to get it down pat what you were saying, but cause you kept going back and forth about it, cause I wasn't understanding it, the purge and perjury, cause it sounded the same to me. And I was telling you that the stuff I said in the past was a lie. You gotta ask me now. I don't know.
Let me ask you this. When the judge was not present and it was just you, me, Investigator Long, and the sheriff's deputies and your attorney, did I ask you, did you plan on taking the stand and saying that you killed Nut to help your friends out because you had immunity? Did I ask you that?
I think I don't know if you asked me that, but I know I told you that I'm not admitted to no crimes.
Okay. And did you tell me you were not going to admit that you killed Nut?
Yeah, I'm not gonna admit that.
Okay. And did I then tell you that if you planned on claiming a murder that you did not do, that is when you would be charged with perjury?
That's what you just said. That's what I just said. You said.
All right.
If I said it right. And you asked me when you questioned me did I did, and I told you no.
So you talking about killing Nut, that at no point did I ever tell you if you just admit to killing Nut, you'll be charged with perjury. Did I ever tell you that?
I don't understand you.
This entire, I apologize, I know I object. Entire 10 minutes has been Prosecutor Hillary putting her credibility before the jury without being questioned at all. I can't question. So I object to this entire line of questioning.
I understand. Yes, sir, Mr. Short.
Is the entire transcript now open for questions?
No, it is not. She's not even asking him things about the transcript right now. She's asking him things that happened not on the transcript.
Now, last week, I believe Mr. Shard asked you if I told you you could say I don't recall to every question. Do you remember him asking you that?
He pissed me off too, so I got frustrated when he was talking to me.
Do you remember your attorney asking me, can he say I don't recall to every question?
Which lawyer?
Ms. Bumpus, in that June meeting.
I don't.
Do you recall Ms. Bumpus saying, can he say I don't recall to every question? And my response to her was, I will hope that is not the truth, because I think there are some things you do recall and some things you don't. But the things you don't recall, you don't recall. And I will go through my process of what I do. Do you recall me telling your attorney that?
See, y'all don't understand. Like, I think don't nobody in this courtroom know how I feel to be sitting right here. It ain't about what I recall, what I remember, what I don't remember. It's the functioning of my brain as I'm sitting up here. It's like, I'm trying to answer y'all, but my brain is in and out. Like, I don't, you feel me? Like, I can't, you ask me, it's how you asking me the question. It better than I'm trying to comprehend what you saying and then answer truthfully, but it sounds like a trick question because I don't know how to answer these questions. When me and you talk without being in the courtroom, you taught me on a level where I can understand you good. But when you get right here, the question that you asked me made me feel like I'm in an interrogation room, so I don't know how to answer your questions.
In that meeting, back in June, a few months ago, do you remember me telling you that I just want you to be truthful?
Yes.
Okay. And do you
Overruled.
and do you remember me saying to you, I don't know what your current truth is, but I know what you told the police back in 2015?
Objection. Personal observations of a non-witness.
Overruled.
Do you remember having that conversation in the judge's chambers?
Yeah, because I told you that. Y'all don't got, like, y'all don't know that, like, y'all don't know. And you said out your mouth that, yeah, you're right. We don't know what you're going to say and what your truth is. So.
And do you remember me telling your attorney to talk to you about what impeachment is?
I thought that was the same word as the other perjury, whatever.
But
Ain't that the same?
I can't answer that question for you, but do you remember, did I tell your attorney to talk to you about impeachment?
Talk to me about impeachment?
Yes.
I don't know.
Okay.
I know most of the time we was talking like, I don't. My only thing was I was in jail and I didn't understand what was going on. I just felt like, I don't know.
Now, also in that meeting, you said, I did these crimes. Do you remember saying that I did these crimes?
Because I don't want my family I don't want my nephews and them to hear the stuff that I did.
Okay. When you said you did these crimes, what crimes were you talking about?
I don't recall.
When you say you don't recall, what do you mean?
That I ain't speaking on it.
Were these crimes that occurred back in 2015 or crimes that happened more recently?
I don't commit crimes. I changed my life.
So when you said I did these crimes and Mr. Steele asked you about that, or Mr. Shard, what crimes were you talking about that you did?
I guess the ones in my dream, the nightmares, whatever. I don't know. I don't get what you're asking me.
In that June interview, in that June meeting that happened a few months ago, and Mr. Steele or Mr. Shard asked you about this last week, you said, I did these crimes, I'm telling you that. And my response to you was, okay, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm asking you today, what crimes were you talking about back in June that you said you committed?
I ain't committed no crimes.
Are you saying you haven't committed any crimes recently?
The crimes I committed for, y'all locked me up for them.
Okay. So then when you said I did these crimes, were you talking about things that happened in 2015?
I'm talking about the crimes y'all caught me for.
Okay. And to be clear, were you talking about any crimes that are charged in this present indictment?
I'm not a part of it, so I don't know. I never read this indictment and don't want to read it or hear nothing about it.
And let's be fair. Were you in custody between June 10th, 2015 and February 2019?
Can you say that again?
Were you in custody between June 10th of 2015 to February 28th, 2019?
February 28th?
Yes.
2019?
Yes. God bless you.
Can you
When did you get out of federal custody?
September 12th, 22nd, one of them days, 2019.
Okay. And were you also incarcerated from May 13th, 2020 to May 11th, 2021?
I went back to jail. I did over a year.
Do you remember then going back to jail June 15th, 2021 to July 24th, 2021?
Yes.
Okay.
You said from when?
June 15th, 2021 to July 24th, 2021.
You said from June to July?
June 15th of 2021 to July 24th of 2021.
So what you saying? I did a month in jail?
Yes.
I don't remember that.
Okay.
I remember going back to jail, and both times I went back to jail after I got the feds, I was in there longer than a year.
All right. Do you remember then getting arrested in October of 2021 and then being released in February of 2022?
You said October,
Yes.
and then getting released in a year later?
And let me say, going to prison in February of 2022.
2022. Yeah, I went, yeah.
And you stayed in prison until August of 2022. Is that fair?
Yes.
Okay.
23,
And then you were transferred back to Fulton County in August of 2022, and you were in jail until March of 2023. Is that fair?
yes. They sound like it.
And you've been out since March of 2023, correct?
Until y'all locked me up for pleading the fifth.
And you spent the weekend in jail.
Yes.
All right. Now let's talk about this October 2021 interview. On cross-examination, do you remember Mr. Steele playing a number of jail calls for you?
Yes.
Shake your head, yes.
Yes.
And do you recall those jail calls being from December of 2022 to about February of 2023?
From December to February? Okay, yes.
Okay. And do you recall 3 of those jail calls were from February of 2023?
Shit, I guess.
And do you remember the 3 jail calls that Mr. Steele played for you? That was after the October 2021 interview that you did with Investigator Viverito was released. Do you remember that?
I guess.
Now, this is the interview that you told Mr. Sharp last week you thought that the state of Georgia released, correct?
I believe it.
All right. Now, you had a total of 6 interviews with the Atlanta Police Department. Is that fair? 5 from 2015 and then 1 from October of 2021. Is that fair?
I don't keep up with it.
Okay. Do you remember watching 5 interviews in court?
Yeah, I'm gonna definitely. I don't want to watch them no more.
Okay. And the only one you did not watch was the October one. Is that fair?
Please tell me we're not about to watch another one.
Is that fair that you have not watched
Yes.
the October one?
Yes, I have watched it. The world watched it too.
Okay. The only video that was ever leaked was the one from October, correct?
Yes.
Did you know, or are you aware that between the Fulton County District Attorney's Office and the Atlanta Police Department that we've had that October 2021 interview since the day it was recorded?
Can you say that again?
Sure. Are you aware that between the Fulton County District Attorney's Office and the Atlanta Police Department that we've had that October 2021 interview from the day that you sat down and did the interview?
Yes.
Did you know that we had the interview for 16 months in our possession before it was released?
Yes.
Did you know that we served that particular interview in discovery in January of 2023?
Yeah. I think I've got it.
Yeah, I
Ms.
believe
Hilton.
it is relevant to the assertion that defense counsel made last week when they opened the door as far as who released this interview. They questioned him. You're right. We
Yeah,
objected.
I mean, I think that is not a fair characterization. There was questioning about it.
And we objected to it, and it was overruled, Your Honor.
Mhm.
And he was allowed to answer it. And so we are following up on the ability that he was able to answer that question.
Oh,
I don't oppose that. It was on a jail call, but I would like to ask questions of the prosecutor. Because this is testifying.
all right. It's not testifying. Ms. Hilton, rephrase your question.
Are you aware that that interview was given to defense in January of 2023?
No.
Are you aware that the video was released within 30 days of it being given to the defense?
I would object, and if they have any evidence, they can bring it forward in court.
Overruled.
Are you aware that after the video was released, we brought the fact that it was released to the court?
All right, let's take a break. Time for a bathroom break anyway. Yes, sir.
Your Honor, previously, the predecessor court came to the court's attention that there was a release of what I'll call discovery, but it's October 27, 2021. And it's a recording of an interrogation of Mr. Copeland, and it was very harmful to Mr. Williams. The part that was released that I'm aware of, and I believe Mr. Adams, unless he corrects me, just has lies, what I can say lies, about Mr. Williams ordering people to die. It was very harmful. I asked Judge Glanville, predecessor judge, for relief and a bond because it denied Mr. Williams' right to a fair trial. The predecessor judge said there's going to be an independent investigation of who released that and that he would get to the bottom of it. I never heard back from that. A jail call, I listened to all these jail calls. We had others listen to all these jail calls. On a jail call, I didn't say anything last week. I played a jail call where Mr. Copeland said that immediately after telling the authorities in December and February, December 22, December 23, that he had lied and that everything he said was a lie about Mr. Williams, and he's telling this to his friend and his sister. He said all of a sudden, this interrogation is released. So he believed it was the prosecution team releasing it. That's how it all came up. For a prosecutor who's an advocate to then vouch for and put her own credibility in issue, that's what I've been objecting to. And to say, we gave it to the defense, and I'm raising my voice because I don't have a amplifier and microphone. So I'm not trying to yell. Court is shaking the head with a smile. My point is, sorry, Your Honor, is that it sounds like I did something wrong. I didn't release anything. I didn't do anything wrong. I was the one objecting to the release of this information. And it was given out, and I'm not very technical, so it was given out on Dropbox, and I was told that's a bad way to do it. And Judge Glanville, then predecessor judge, said, don't do it that way anymore. Yet the Dropbox was never taken down. It was all a mess. And the predecessor judge, and I'm not casting aspersions, it may have been a great investigation. I just never heard anything. And now we hear on Tuesday, the third day of September, and the prosecution is asking questions which clearly target that did you know that within X amount of time that the defense got this discovery, which the previous answer was no. I don't know when the defense got the discovery. There's no foundation. That doesn't stop the district attorney of saying then it was released. Clearly, it's the same pattern that they've been given about all these witnesses. Mr. Tratavius Stevens, Mr. Bean, B-E-A-N, Mr. Murphy, this witness. Have Have you ever had to testify in front of Jeffrey Williams or these other people? Now all of a sudden, your testimony is different. And I've been objecting every time because there's no evidence of intimidation. And what happened, which you may not know, and this is based on the information belief, I never spoke with Mr. Copeland about this, so maybe it's not true. I believe he got beaten in the jail after that was released. I believe, I could be wrong. But assuming that's all true, for the prosecutor to now say that their hands are clean, and I can't ask the question. Judge Lambo denied my request to call the prosecutors and their agents to assert under oath, under questioning, who released this. Because it certainly wasn't in Mr. Williams' best interest. So anybody on Mr. Williams' behalf would be would do a disservice to release that Mr. Williams is having people killed in the middle of jury selection. So anyway, my bottom line is this entire, Ms. Hilton has taken, and I have all the cases we argued before, but has taken herself, and she has moved from the position of asking questions and an advocate to testifying as a witness. You told me I was there. Detective Long's out of the car. You told me. You only told me this. Did you know that the prosecution served this? Were you aware that the defense had this? All of this needs to be questioned to Prosecutor Hill. So I asked the court, I know I've been repeatedly asking that, and I know that I have a continual objection, but this is not how we try cases in the state of Georgia. All of these cases require Ms. Hilton to take a witness stand. And if she does, I have no objection because I'm not a witness. But it's been denied. That's my objection. I'd like her to be removed from the case. I'm not trying to stymie the prosecution. They have other witnesses. They at counsel table, we don't know where. I mean, this is not new. So I ask for the prosecution that specifically Ms. Hilton and Ms. Love to be removed from the case. I have questions for both of them. I'd also like to renew my motion I could call predecessor to judge. That's my entire objection. The mistrial motion, I don't want a mistrial. I'm telling you what I don't want. This has to stop. And now those last questions had to be with the intent of casting aspersions on not only Mr. Williams, but I presume everybody else here by saying that we're releasing information, which I assume maybe it's not true. So I don't want to go too far. But the next question will be, and you got beaten, Mr. Copeland, after the release of that as intimidation. So those are my motion for mistrial that I don't want. I don't want the motion for mistrial, but I feel compelled.
All right.
That wasn't going to be my next question because I didn't know he got beat up in the jail. Your Honor, last week when Mr. Shard, I believe, asked.
Let me interrupt you a second. He may not have. I just want to make clear that may not be accurate. I don't have any personal knowledge, or I was not told that.
Last week when Mr. Shard asked he went down a line of questioning about this call being released. And Mr. Shard asked Mr. Copeland who was his belief, what was his belief of who released this recording? And the state objected, saying that it wasn't relevant who he believed released this video. The court overruled the state's objection. He was able to answer that question, which was he believed it was the state. Mm-hmm. And at this point, we believe that it is proper for the same reason that he was able to disparage that the state will release such a video.
Okay, you need to be careful about what you're saying because there are questions from the attorneys and then there are answers from the witness stand, and that's what the evidence is. And I do not believe that anybody on the defense side made the suggestion that the state had released it. I mean, the transcript will reflect what was asked and what was answered, but...
And maybe not disparage is the right word, but the question was asked, who do you believe released the video? And he says, I believe it was the state of Georgia. I believe that an appropriate line of questioning, Your Honor, is would he feel differently if he thought that the defense leaked it? And to give questioning about what his understanding of, what Mr. Copeland's understanding is of what happened and what transpired when this video was released.
Well, we already know what Mr. Copeland's belief and understanding is.
But would it change if...
That's not what you asked, though.
But I had to... I had to give some foundational questions in order to ask that question, in order to ask what my next question is. Because another question that I'm going to ask him, and it's something he alluded to earlier, was that after this video was released, Miss Love, Investigator Long, Miss Rolak all visited with him after this video was released to check on him, to make sure that he was okay. And he alluded to that earlier when he thought I was present at the meeting. And all of this happened around the time that the video was leaked. And so I was asking some foundational questions to Mr. Copeland to see if his position would be different if he thought that someone else leaked it and not the state of Georgia.
Then you should have asked that question.
And I can get to that series of questions, Your Honor, but I don't.
I mean, you are coming very, very close to the line with this line of questioning. I mean, you're basically, the defense is not far off. Let's just put it that way.
So I mean, I can move to my last two questions regarding this, which is who came to visit him after the video was released, and would he feel differently if he believed that the defense leaked the video?
No, I'm not going to let you ask that last question at this point. I mean, that's a total hypothetical question. That is an assumes facts, not an evidence question. Not the objection you keep making.
Your Honor, I feel compelled to just make a brief record. First of all, any insinuation that I asked a question about the release is way off. That topic never even came up during my cross.
You know what? And I know you're not finished, but let me just say that I believe that this jury is paying attention and that they have enough wherewithal to remember what actually happened, and for questions that are potentially misleading, I'm not sure why they're being asked, but I think the jury's going to take note of what got said. And I understand, but you know, I think the jury is doing what they have been told to do, which is to pay attention to the evidence, not the questions.
And second, Your Honor, I just want Your Honor to understand kind of the backdrop here. I guess there was a release. I don't even remember the time that it was released, but apparently it was on social media. When that came to the attention of the court, to my recollection, from my vantage point, yelled at the defense, and this was prior judge, and essentially blamed us. And all of us were saying, well, we didn't do anything. I personally don't even know how to release a video to the press or the internet anyways. But, you know, I just went along with it. Okay, there's going to be an investigation. We're being told we're under investigation. And then all of a sudden, no one mentions the investigation anymore. And it's kind of like, well, if you're accused of something, you would like to know the progress of said investigation.
I'm certainly happy to ask the predecessor court's chambers what's going on with it, if anything, but that's not really relevant to what's before this jury.
Well, it's not until the state, knowing that there was an investigation, knowing that they haven't heard of any findings, then lights this thing on fire again and starts suggesting that we did something wrong. And, you know, I can only speak for myself. I don't believe anyone did anything wrong on this side. I know I didn't. And then somehow those insinuations are coming out in front of the jury with absolutely no basis. And I'm going to join my my friend Mr. Steele, and I'm going to state in my place that I believe the state at this point is goading a mistrial and goading us to move for a mistrial. So I just think that was very inappropriate, and it suggested things that there is just no basis. And in fact, there's apparently been an investigation, and it's been settled as far as I know.
Well, I don't know what has happened, if anything, with that. But would you like to address the assertion that you are goading the defense into a mistrial?
Yes, Your Honor. Number one.
Or into a motion for mistrial?
Yes, Judge. Thank you. Number one, we don't want a mistrial. we vehemently object to a mistrial, and we do believe that the line of questioning, whether it was posed by Mr. Shart or Mr. Steele regarding Mr. Copeland's belief about who leaked that video, was one, not relevant, but understanding that the court ruled as it did, we believe that an inquiry whether his belief that the state leaked the video had some impact on how he decided to testify would be a valid question.
Okay,
since
that's, again, not what y'all asked.
Understood, Judge, understood. But I vehemently object to a mistrial. I do not believe that anyone here at this table has done anything, anyone at this table or on the state's behalf has done anything to in any way merit, warrant, call for, justify a mistrial. So we definitely object to a mistrial. And Your Honor, as it relates to the assertion that counsel for the state have somehow made themselves a witness, repeatedly the witness has affirmed that there were people in the room whom either counsel for the defense could call without having to disqualify either prosecutor in this case. So that being obvious, we definitely object to a mistrial, and additionally, we object to the speaking objections that are being made while the jury is in the box.
All right, well, I'm going to overrule that objection. I don't think that that is going on. Sometimes it's just not particularly clear what the objection is, and if I need further elucidation, then I have permitted that. But I'm going to overrule the motion for mistrial and or deny the motion for mistrial and deny the motion to remove either Ms. Hilton or Ms. Love from the case. I do think that it appears from the questions that there was somebody else present at every meeting. But, you know, Ms. Hilton, that's another option as well. Yes, ma'am. I can't hear you.
Okay. All right. Can you
Try that one.
All right. Can you hear me?
That works.
All right. Your Honor, I want to add that we cannot question any other individual that was at that meeting about Ms. Hilton and the way that she asked some of her questions and made her comments. Let me give you an example. Ms. Hilton said, "I was standing to the side because I didn't know you." That's her feelings. That's her reasoning on why she was standing where she was standing. Ms. Hilton also said, "I was just being me." I can't ask Detective anyone in reference to that.
Hang on. Sorry. I mean, I think that each of those was not a statement. It was a question. It was a cross-examination question. They were, and was this essentially like, is this your recollection or is this what happened? So it was not her testifying. I'm overruling that objection.
All right. And I just want to add that she also said the purpose of the ex parte meeting. So there's no way that
he said, I have no idea what the purpose of that meeting was. So, I mean, I understand, but it's overruled. Thank you for the additional making of the record. Anything else?
Yes, Your Honor. Just briefly, I know I objected earlier about what Attorney Caleb Bumpus allegedly said in that meeting. Court overruled our objection on hearsay grounds. When the state indicated that it was a federal listener, those are objections that we're making because we certainly cannot cross-examine Caleb Bumpus today on this issue. We may have to put her on the witness list if we think that it's warranted. But today, she has not testified in this trial, so at this point it would be hearsay. So I just want to remove my objection.
All right. Thank you. Okay. Let's go ahead and take our restroom break as well. And let's try to be back as quickly as possible because the jury's already been out for 15 minutes.